Hello and welcome to, well, this time a bit of a different video. I just got some new stuff in the mail, believe it or not. So, I found a model train website called Spring Creek, and I ordered some stuff that they had that I wanted. And it arrived well packed, really well, cared for, and everything is in order. And we're going to start today by looking at our first car, which is a CN long-barreled ore hopper. This is traditional Canadian National. Now, this is a more modern ore hopper compared to, like, the ore Janies and other ore hoppers of the 1920s and 30s. Which isn't that bad. Next up, we have a much smaller Canadian barrel ore hopper. Now, there are two sizes because there are two sizes in the real world. There are the big long boys for the longer, more heavy ore trains where you're taking lots and lots and lots of ore from a mine to a steel mill or to an ironworks or wherever. The short version is for, well, guess what? Shorter branch lines that serve shorter ore mines where you don't need as much ore going to a smaller, like, steel mill. And then here we have one in Ontario Northland Green, which is nice compared to the two brown ones I have. And we get this Ontario Northland Chevron Blue with orange ends, which this is another unique, kind of interesting livery choice. And I'm going to be honest. I saw these and I'm like, I have to have. Not because I'm crazy, cuckoo, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs kind of thing. But because, one, they're kind of a unique looking freight car for modern day railroads. And two, they're probably one of the only modern ore cars I love, to be honest. Yes, I love my mineral trades like coal and ore and gravel, ballast, you bloody well name it. I love them, and this fit the bill. Speaking of mineral trains, here is a 100-ton Wheeling and Lake Erie hopper. I got that because, well, coal car, why not? You see, around, like, California, Oregon, Washington area, you're going to see nothing but coal trains. I mean, even in the Midwest, you're going to see coal trains as far as the eye can bloody well see. Next up is this Northern Pacific bulkhead. Think you're only, this is a 53-footer, but I got it because, one, it's a bulkhead. Two, I could put some pretty good loads on here. And three, and most importantly, this can be used for general purpose trains. Plus, bulkheads are kind of the stock standard freight car, especially when it comes to, like, lumber or steel. Yes, you heard me right. Lumber and steel trains use these more than they use the common empty-bodied flatbeds. Our next car is actually the Blueford's GT short roof transfer caboose. This, my friends, is what I was jonesing for. I used to have, back in the day, I used to have, not 12, but like 3 to 5 transfer cabooses before somebody I know and hate really took them, and now I'm just happy to have one. Plus, it's Grand Trunk, and I have a small selection of GT freight cars. This is going to go with it, just to make the smallest GT consist I've ever seen. Next car up, we have a Detroit, Toledo, and Ironton Railroad 40-foot, I think. No, 50-foot boxcar. I said 40-foot in the stream. What was I smoking? Yes, I did a stream where I was showing this off as I pulled it out of the packing box. But this is a 50-foot. You know, and it says we have the connections. Yes, you do have the connections. This is a freight car reminiscent of Henry Ford. The DT&I is, as Amtrak Guy 365 says in a video, which I will link in the description, he talks about this railroad and calls it Henry Ford's Railroad. It was actually built to serve one of the Ford motor car plants. And speaking of DT&I, what good is a DT&I box without a DT&I ballast car? Once again, I've got to have my Henry Ford. We have next up on the list a Wisconsin and Southern ballast car, not box car, ballast. What am I thinking? I'm an idiot. No. Wisconsin and Southern is one of those railroads you only see in, well, Wisconsin. You rarely see that, or like those states around Wisconsin. You rarely, if at all, will ever see it out this far. To be honest, you'd have a better chance seeing this, or GT, or Wheeling, or even Canadian stuff in Oregon and California than you would Wisconsin. And I've grown up on the West Coast my entire life. I can testify that I've seen enough Canadian to last me a lifetime. Next up, a Chicago Northwestern Railway wood chip hopper, which is just a traditional coal car, as you can tell, with an added height roof, or heightened walls to carry, well, wood chips. Now, yes, you can get away with a traditional hopper carrying wood chips. Some railroads actually did that. Or you could get away with the next car I have. The Grand Rapids and Indiana Railroad gondola. I think this is a 40-foot? Yeah, this is a 40-foot gondola. You could get away with a gondola pulling, well, carrying, well, wood chips. And our last car, I think this is a 40-foot? Yeah, here's a 40-foot A&D box car for the Atlantic and Danville Railroad. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, Danville. That sounds familiar, Danville. Atlantic and Danville. Wreck of the old 97? Get her into Danville on time. Yes, I literally just... I got this because Wreck of the 97. Wreck of the old 97. But anyway, now, let's go through purposes on my railroad for these cars. The two ballast cars, well, you need maintenance of way equipment. You need that kind of... You need ballast. And, well, I have a few ballast cars. Why not up the ballast haulage capabilities? Box cars, general freight purpose. Also, I kind of want to make a meme out of this. You know, put Henry Ford, put the like a Ford logo here, like a traditional 1920s, 1930s style Ford logo. Just because this, and even I might even do it on this one because these are both DT and I. As for this guy, you know, just put old 97 on there. Wood chips. Now, living in Oregon, this is one of the more common cargo. Is wood chips, logs, lumber, paper. You bloody well name it. And, you know, C&W, I like C&W stuff. Now, to be honest, I'm not the biggest or the most crazy fan of C&W. I mean, or GT. I mean, yeah, I'll have like a small 5 or 10 car train of C&W and GT stuff, but it's gotta be one that'll catch my attention. This did. Plus, wood chips, you know, if you're gonna have a wood chip car, I would recommend this over the more modern stuff. Just because I feel like it's got personality. Whereas the modern stuff, it just feels more like it was churned out of a factory. It's very... I mean, when it's all brand new stuff, or it just doesn't have a unique look, it looks like a copier. Just, they took one car and ran it through a photocopier and just changed the paint on the damn thing. I mean, I have the Ducks, the Beavers, the Dare, and the Gold West Service wood chip hoppers, and aside from the paint, they're all the same. They just don't have that personality that I like. Now, we move to the gondola. Why? Well, the gondola can be used for a number of freights, including containers, as you probably have seen in a number of videos, scrap, coal, wood chips, logs, lumber, ballast even, gravel from quarries. I mean, there's a lot you can get away with. Even, like, steel coils, steel billets, steel plates, steel rails. I mean, there's a ton you can do with a gondola. In fact, I'm even going to go over what I call the universal cars in another video. And I'm going to talk about the gondola alongside a few other freight cars. The GT transfer caboose. Used mostly for shoving moves. Basically, if you're shoving freight cars ahead of you, or switching. And for, like, light transfer workings along various railways. And along various branch lines or various yards. This just adds a little more charm than having your traditional off-center cupola, your center cupola, your wide-view center cupola, your wide-view off-center cupola, your bay window cabooses, or your little bobbers. This just adds that one little, what's the word I'm looking for, dimension to a railroad. And seeing one of these in active service on freight trains, who wouldn't want to see one of those in active service on a goddamn freight train? Next car up is our good old friend, the wood chip hopper. This, or not wood chip, but the bulkhead. This can be used for rails, you know, steel rails, steel plates, steel cables, or steel coils. You can even do cable loads. You can do the same thing with the gondola, cable loads. But wood? I've actually seen full-on lumber on these bastards. Pardon my language here. I've seen it all on these things. I've even seen cars transported on these things. Yes, if you don't have an auto rack and you want to get cars to a local shop, this is your freight car of choice. Think about it. You've got the walls that'll keep the cars from sliding back and forth. You've got little stake holes alongside here, either side. You can put some steel rotting in there. Guess what? Boom! You can now keep the cars from sliding off the flatbed. Wheeling in Lake Erie. This coal car. Because coal car. Why do I need a reason other than coal car? I mean, having coal cars is going to give you a little more of an edge. If you're running an all-steam operation, or you serve power plants or whatever, having these is literally giving you gold. Your railroad will be thanking you. And now we move to the ore cars. I got these two for some of the bigger ore loads and for like large shipments of ore that need to be put into a steel mill to produce for a contract. A contract. Yes, these are literally contractor freight cars. How do they perform? I don't know. But I got these for a trial run. I want to see what I want to see how they do. If they do real well, and I really am leaning to this livery down here more than I am this one. So if I were to get any more, it'd be this guy. But I want to wait and see. And these are the long guys. So if I want more of the long ones, it's definitely going to be the chevron. But if I have to get the brown ones, I will. They just not my favorite color. And now we come to the short guys. This is for more like your at home or your homeward, your kind of home steel trains. These are for steel trains where you're not expecting to be filling a ship, or building a ship. These are kind of build a ship. The long guys are kind of build a ship ore cars. These guys are more like steel plating for like a garden shed outside, or for like building a mailbox, or even a car. They're not really made for long, heavy ore trains. You know, like 5 of these guys and you're set. And if I were to get more of these, if they do perform well, I'm leaning more to the green Ontario Northland than this brown guy up here. Because it just, I don't know, it just rubs me the wrong way. But this guy, this green, is so beautiful. But that's it. That's all there is to it. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.